Nicole O'Neill once said, "When you find the courage to use your voice, it has the power to positively inspire and change the lives of others. It is one of the special gifts you have to offer the world. It is something to be cherished and championed, never hidden." And that is why we are here on Your Voice, Your Impact. I am the energetic EJ. I am a life and transformational coach, and I work with women aged 40 and above to turn their abandoned dreams into achievable goals by activating their voice for impact. I'm also a podcaster and an event host. On this show with me is
Great, so amazing. The goal of this show is to help people use their voices to create impact. I am a physicist and a life coach. What I do for my clients is I help them build systems to achieve their goals whilst having fun doing it. On this show, we discuss topical issues that can inspire you to move. Like, subscribe, and share. Welcome aboard.
all right. Welcome to another episode on Your Voice, Your Impact. Welcome. This is the last Monday in April. How are you doing? I hope it is going well on your end. Please say hi to me, regardless of where you're joining us from, whether on Instagram, on YouTube, or on LinkedIn. Let me see your hi in the comment section. I am just looking down here to monitor what's going on LinkedIn so that if your comment is not showing up in the studio, I can at least look at it from LinkedIn directly to engage with you as well. So let me know how you're feeling today. How is your Monday going? My Monday is going well so far, so good. It's been super productive, and I'm super excited about that. I hope you can say that for yourself as well. That your week or your Monday has been exciting. All right, fantastic. I think I can see now. I can monitor from LinkedIn so that if there are any, would I be able to see comments this way? Sorry, give me a second. I think I'll only be able to see comment this way. All right. So hopefully I'll be able to see your comments when it drops in on LinkedIn. All right. So thank you for joining us again today. Yes, in this month of April, we've been having this series. I'm just going to bring up Gracie as we take a recap of what has been going on in the month of April. We've been having a series around personal development chronicles, and we've been hosting young people in their 20s who are making a difference with whatever it is that they've chosen, the field they've chosen, the path they've chosen to follow. And it's been a time of learning, from the young ones, from the young adults or young ones, youths. Let's put it like that, youths. I saw a content. I shared a content to my Instagram story. Was it yesterday or the day before? And it was a young Indian boy that was sharing about different timings of the day, different years, and the generation started from the lost generation to the greatest generation to the millennia to the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Gen Beta, Gen like that. And then he also did one about age, like what was it, the oh, what was it, an adult, a child, an adult, a middle-aged, an old age or something like that. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, now wow. So I cannot call myself an adult again like this now. I am now considered a middle-aged. I'm telling you, I was just laughing when I saw that. But anyways, whether I like it or not, me, I'll be a young girl, forever young, forever young,
I
dog.
don't know about you guys though, but me, I don't know about the adults. I'm a young girl. I'm a young girl.
I'm forever young. Anyway, so that was interesting to know. So we keep learning every day. And it's just beautiful to be able to engage with these young minds to see what they're doing, what their thought processes are, how they are making the impact that they are making at their own level. And it's been interesting. And today, as we wrap up that series, we have a beautiful young lady all the way from the northern part of Nigeria. And she is so passionate about reading. She's so passionate about reading. And she wants, this is one way, of many, that she wants to make a difference in her world, to help people fall in love again. For those who are no longer reading, to help them reconnect to reading. For those who like just feel like they don't want to read, to help them find the fun in reading, right? So she has this community that she's putting together. And we're just going to talk about her journey as an avid reader. What has that done for her? How has that helped her change her mindset, her perception about life, and all of that? And that's what we'll be talking about today. But before we dive into the conversation, bringing up our guests, let us give you a small gist about what the weekend was about. On my own end, weekend was okay. It wasn't eventful at all. I think I was indoors all through on Saturday. Saturday was my pajamas day. I was my PJ all day. And Sunday I went to church and came back, and that was it. And I just relaxed. I read. So I'm currently reading a book by a friend, and it's been a while that I read storybook, right? So it's a novel, and it's beautiful. I'm just gushing over my friend, like, Ufoma, you be writer. Come on, when somebody writes a thriller, as in, and you're like, oh my god, And me, when I enjoy a book, right, I don't like to finish it on time. When you know I am enjoying a book is that you know how when you are eating something that you like, I don't want it to finish. Pinching it small, small. That's how I do with my book. When I know that, oh my god, it's almost resolved, I'll close it. I'm like, okay, I'll come back. I'll come back. I'll make it like a reward for myself. So go and do something. Like go get done with a task and reward yourself by reading the next chapter. So that's what I'm currently doing with the book. But it's been amazing, and my weekend was great. So I know Grace's weekend was more exciting. So let her give us the gist. How was your weekend?
And you know what you do during the week as an MC, you get to have events during the week. So it only makes
Yes.
sense if weekends, some weekends, not all weekends, because even
Not all
weekends too,
weekends. Yeah,
you
like the
you
next
have
weekend now I'm
events.
busy. I'm out. Yeah.
So for my weekend was superb, and it was particularly superb because I anchored an event. So for me, it was my first
Yay!
time. Yay!
Yay! How
It
did
was
that go?
officially it went well. I usually would MC an event, but not an event where I'm like, and it makes I mean, the work that you do as an MC, shout out to you. I don't know, because an event is centered around how energetic the MC is. I
Yeah.
could tell that right from where when the participants came in, how they were feeling when I mounted the podium, and how they started feeling because I had to bring in some things. And I'm like, wow, the MC is really the life of
The
an
master of
event. So kudos to
ceremony.
you and the work that you
Absolutely.
do. So for me, the
Thank
weekend was
you.
exciting. It was interesting because I did not only MC the event, I was a major participant. It was an event for women, the lady, her
Hmm.
money, and her confidence. For
Oh,
me,
nice.
as a lady, you should know how to earn your own money. So when they talk about financial literacy and all of that, I'm always like, okay, let's go there, let's learn these things. So that
Right.
was my highlight for the weekend. It was really an amazing weekend for me.
Oh, lovely, 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 awesome. Good to know that. And great, great. So yeah, moving on into our conversation for the day. We're talking about turning pages, changing lives, the quiet power of reading in a loud word. I love this topic, so beautiful. It's so noisy in the world today. So how can you withdraw, leveraging the power of reading, to expand your mind, to change your perspective, to learn about new people, new places, new culture? And how has that worked so far for our guest today, Lady Aisha Amdagas? I'm going to bring her off stage now. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
You're muted. You're on mute. You have to unmute yourself.
I have done that. Hello, EJ, Grace.
Are you okay? How are you today? Please give us a very bit. Okay, let me open up the floor for you. You are Lady Aisha Amdagas, an avid reader. Introduce yourself in a way that will make us remember you. Your time starts now. Go for it.
Okay. My name is Aisha Amdagas. I am an avid, voracious reader. I am an author, and recently the creative founder of Books Beyond Barriers, which is a reading-centered initiative that aims to, help people discover or rediscover the joy and magic of reading. That is
I
it
love
in a
it.
nutshell.
What was the first time you opened a book to read? I am curious to know.
Okay. I can't recall when exactly that is, but I remember I know that I've been reading ever since I learned to read words. That should be around age 5 or 6. So I've been reading all my life ever since I learned to read words. And, my stories books is a love story that is still going strong. So it goes way back to when I was just 5. It's been very long.
Interesting. Interesting to know. My next question to you before I pass it on to Grace is, what do you remember the very first book you read?
Okay, that's a tough one. I okay, my earliest memory of reading is I grew up reading Disney stories, stories of princesses, Cinderella, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Little Red Riding Hood. Those were my earliest memories, of books. And then from there, I think what I remember reading were books like Ralia the Sugar Girl and African Night Entertainment. And then from there, I think I spiraled down to Nanny Boy's series. I consumed his books a lot. So yeah, those were my earliest memory.
Wow, that's interesting. So when you were growing up, you started reading at about the age of 5, and you kind of dabbled into a couple of different genres, right? What would you say were the very first set of, let me say, the genres of books that caught your attention the most? Do you remember?
Can you can you repeat the question? I didn't catch that.
Okay, so can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
And yes, I can.
Okay. So I was saying that
I
at
can.
those early stage, at those early years of you reading, were there genres of books that caught your attention the most?
No, not really. I wouldn't say there were specific genres or one particular genre that stood out for me. I was just reading anything I could lay my hands on. So anything that comes my way, I pick it up to read. There wasn't anything specific for me at that point in time.
Okay, fantastic. I asked all of that just to kind of, get to know you better. Know, the journey that you're coming, where you're coming from, and all of that. Okay, now that you started to read more and you started to find that you love reading, can you give us a little bit of that backstory of your journey from reading to becoming somebody who is so passionate about helping other people read as well?
Okay. Like I said, I grew up reading all my life from the moment I learned to read. I've been reading all my life, and um, growing up, I grew up indoors. Yeah, I grew up indoors. My movements were always restricted, so I kind of grew I kind of grew to appreciate and even like that. So books became my companions. Books became my best friends. I was always reading, and I think reality is a very, very crazy place. It's a crazy place. So for me, I read again to escape reality. I read to escape reality, and gradually it's changed. It became more than just me wanting to escape. Reading became like what would I call it? A lifeline maybe, because the way I am, I don't think I can go. I don't think I can live without reading. And that is because reading has taught me a lot. Reading has taught me so much. It has taught me to, think differently. It has taught me to dream bigger. It has taught me to feel more. It has taught me to be empathetic. Reading has, taught me to imagine and to ask so many questions. So, and then also, I think it's a gift. Reading is a gift. Reading shouldn't be a luxury. It is not. It shouldn't be a luxury or a privilege that is only available to a select few. Reading is something that I believe everyone should experience. Everyone should enjoy. That was what prompted me to start an unconventional book club. I say unconventional because um usually book clubs select a book to read a month, to read one book in a month or two, and then at the end of the month they come together to discuss the book and all of that. When I started with Page Turners in 2022, it was to help people become readers, because I have a lot of people coming to me saying, "Oh, Aisha, how is it that you're always reading? What motivates to read? I want to become a reader. I want to be like you. I want to be able to read as much as you do." So I thought, okay, I can do something to help these people. So I set up the Page Turners to try to make them commit, not really fall in love. The goal at that time was to help them commit to reading. So I set them up with accountability partners, but the page turners didn't turn out the way I had hoped it would. So I kind of abandoned it. So we're in 2025 now, and I've been re-strategizing, and that is how I came up with some books beyond barriers. We are yet to kickstart our programs or project, but what I've done now is, instead of trying to focus on making people commit, I think what I'll have to do first is to make them fall in love, make them understand that anyone can become a reader. We all have stories. I think we all belong to stories. Every single one of us belongs to stories. As long as you have a story, you belong to stories. You belong to books. So reading is not for a select few. And as human beings, we all have stories. So that is to say, we all belong to books. So the thing with books beyond barriers is kind of me trying to break down the barriers that make people think, oh, reading isn't for me, or I can't make reading a habit, and whatever it is, are stopping people from reading. So books beyond barriers is there to break down the walls, whether it's emotional, psychological, physical. For some, the problem with reading is accessibility. For some, it's intimidation. Some feel intimidated because, oh, they are surrounded by readers and they feel, oh, this person has read so many books. I can't match up to this person, or I can't be like this person. So they are intimidated. So Books Beyond Barriers is, I set up Books Beyond Barriers to try to break down all of these barriers that stop people from falling in love and finding the joy in reading.
Yeah, Grace, go for it.
All right. So she's just so calm and just speaking her words, and I'm like, okay, it's fine. She's a reader. Most conk readers, they have more on the inside, which is what I've come. So I'm going to ask you this question. Do you agree with what they say about if you want to hide something, so a Nigerian won't see it, hide it in a book? If
Did they
you
say
agree with
Nigerian? I be African. Did they say is it
Africa,
Nigerian?
it's as if our own is too much. Yeah, our own is there our money. But that's not me because I'm actually a reader. All right, so okay, you get the gist. You know what I'm asking. Like, if you want to put something, if you want to take away or you want to hide something from an African, put it in a book. Do you agree? And if yes, why do you think that is true?
Okay, yes, I 100% agree that
Hey,
if you want to hide something from an African, hide it between the pages of the book. And that is because we don't read. Africans don't read. I'm very glad that it's changing. People are starting to embrace reading, but yes, it's still true that we don't read. We do not read. And with the advent of technology and social media and all of that, we are like zombies now. It's like we're in a trance. Everyone is constantly scrolling, refreshing, and doing all of that. So a lot of don't even have time for books. I have a lot of people tell me that the moment they pick up a book, they fall asleep. They tell me that if they want to sleep, they just pick up a book. It's that terrible. So yes, Africans don't read, and if you want to hide something valuable from us, hide it in pages of
I got, let me just say bam gidim to that one, because if I want to read, I better sit down and read. Because for sometimes I'll be like, I want to deceive myself. I'll put it under my pillow that this should be the last thing I'll read before I sleep. And as soon as I open that book, the first word will be sleep, Grace is sleep. Boom! I'm off. And the next morning I'm like, not even a line, and coming from, so I'm going to share. I want to really share this because I know many of us are on this table. I used to be a reader. I used to really read, and like you said, some of us used to escape into our books. Some of us used our books to capture the love of our parents, because at a point, the only in an average Nigerian home, the only thing you would hear that would make you look good is, don't mind this one now, he doesn't read. But you see this one, she likes to read. So as a Nigerian, I grew up in a home where reading was not just a culture, it was something that was used as a tool to show how serious a child is. Do you think the approach to reading, as be it educational, be it inspirational, be it anything? I don't know if she can hear me. I cannot see her on.
Our video is off, but I don't know if she can hear us.
Okay. All right. So if you can hear me, the question really is: do you think our approach?
Yeah, let's just have the conversation while she
While
gets
we wait
back. I
for
think
her,
her
okay. So
network, yeah, I think her network is a little bit wobbly. So when she
bad. Okay.
comes back, we'll bring her back on stage. But yeah, honestly, like talking about that, and it's interesting that that was a thing, making it like a source of it was more like a source of approval.
Oh,
Like, so if you want to get approval from your parent, like, this one is a good child, you read and you carry first, or at least you are among the top 10 in your class.
and the
And
bad
so,
part,
yeah.
the bad part at some point was it became attached to like a punishment. When they say, go and read your
Yes,
book, you're playing,
yes.
go and read your book. So
Go and
you
read your
just
book.
in your brain. if they
You
want
now
you to be
associate,
punished.
yes, you now associate reading to something that is a punishment or something that is not fun. Like you don't get to read unless you are punished. And there's nobody
Exactly.
that enjoys punishment. So you can't enjoy reading that
Exactly.
way. It's not possible. Do you see? So there's a lot
Mm.
of, there are a lot of things that, we went through growing up. And come to think about the sleep thing. I don't know. I feel like there are kinds of books that you will read that you will sleep.
Yeah.
Did you read Mills and Bones that I know is that year? Or any of these
And it's true, you'll be on your bed and the thing will be, it will be giving you
you
sugar
will read
spike. Ah, the
like
tall,
movie.
handsome hunk opened the door, and immediately the lady will, I will go back there. I'm there until I see what will happen. That time we never used to sleep. Maybe it's old age, or maybe I don't know, or maybe it's
Do
priorities or
do you see?
responsibilities. I don't
No,
know
I
what to
feel
call
like
it.
if you pick up a storybook now, like a novella or a novel to read, you will still be more engaged than probably a self-help book or an historic book or something, right? So it feels
Mm,
like to an extent our minds, just the
love
intrinsic
school.
nature of the human mind loving storytelling, you can still read. Even if you're reading a biography, it might be more interesting than if you are reading something that is a bit more abstract. If you're reading about somebody, so for example, when The Becoming came, Michelle Obama. You see, just the fact that she was telling, she wrote this, it was her story basically. So by the time you start
Mm.
reading about, oh, how they were growing up, when there was at some point started talking about her first boyfriend, back then. You want to when they will go out when she was 16 or something like. So you want to, and now you
Our
know
love for
that this
Amebo.
person, you know this person, and now it's like, oh, this is the backstory of this person. You want to pay attention, you want to be interested and all of that. So I don't know if that plays a role, but the thing is, at the end of the day, all books cannot be the same. All books
Very
cannot be
true.
storybook. All books cannot be. But are there, I'm just curious to ask her, she's a voracious reader, to say, are there things that attract her to different types of books? I don't know why her video is not showing still. um but yeah, okay. Even adding that to the page is not working yet. So I don't know. I think it's probably network, but let's see. Hopefully she can come back. But I'm just curious to know if, are there things that people could do to enjoy read? Are there things that she does to enjoy reading certain books? Personally, if I want to read and I'm serious that I want to read, if it's not storybook, like I said, that is interesting, that you want to know what's going to happen next, I have to read out loud. If I
Oh,
dare
really?
open the
All
book,
through the
yes,
book?
I have to. If I want to focus on reading, I have to read out loud. I have to read out to
Wow.
myself to hear me. Otherwise, I can
Mm.
I can read one paragraph and I look back and it's like I'm looking at the book for the very first time. So I'd have to go
Wow.
back again. I'd have to go back again. But if I want to engage my mind and my focus, I have to read out loud. That could be because I'm an auditory learner. Do you see? I'm an
Okay.
auditory learner. So when I hear, it helps me process the words in my mind.
Mm.
So for me
Mm.
to concentrate, for me to know that okay, I'm reading this book now and I want to understand what I'm reading, I have to read it out. And so, but what that does for me personally is double-edged sword. One is it helps me focus on what I'm reading. It helps me,
Yeah.
it increases my retention a little bit,
Level.
but
Yeah.
also it helps me with pronunciation because now if I pronounce a word that I feel like, is that how they pronounce the word? If it sounds a little bit wobbly, then I'm going quickly Google or dictionary. How do you
Check
pronounce
the
this word?
pronunciation.
Do you see?
Mm.
So because there are words that we see, you can literally, you know the word. In your mind, you
Mm.
can pronounce it. But if they call you to come and read out loud, that's when you know that you don't know how to pronounce the word, right? So for
Mm.
me, those are some techniques that I use if I want to read, if I want to really focus and get insight out of the book. Another thing that I do to help me stay on a book is to attach a purpose to it.
Yeah.
To help me stay reading is to attach a purpose to it. So yes, it's good. I mean, the truth is we actually read though. We actually
Yeah.
read, but we're just selective. People will stay
True.
online all day. You're reading comments.
Because it's funny. Some of those comments will make your day. I used to say that, no, talk about reading comments. You'll be amazed that, there are some
The
things.
comment
I
is more
mean, if
interesting
like
than the
you,
content.
oh yeah, you would even see it there. Some people will write, I am here for the comments.
Some people
The
say,
one I
I
saw
broke my
recently,
leg. I
somebody
broke
said,
my leg running to the
comment,
comment
comment,
section.
booting. Said, okay, we are nothing like that.
Oh my God. I even say, I
And then,
broke my leg running
seriously
to the
speaking,
comment section.
seriously speaking, because I think reading is part of me, because I grew up in a house where my dad was an introvert, so he was very, very to his book. After work,
Mm,
my dad is back and is either reading maybe newspapers, or he's reading his Bible, or he's reading. You always see my dad reading, and because my dad was my mentor now, or is still my mentor. I would say that, okay, as a child growing up, I would see, and as a young girl growing up, these Binta, these books, all these magazines for children. My dad used to
mm,
buy it for me. Then I would go to his office,
mm.
and then I would see it and I would read it. And I think it helped my what's the word, pronunciation. It also helped my diction as a child
Mm,
growing up. And I hear some parents these days, they complain about certain, although it's no longer a thing, because in schools, I mean, the schools of these days, because of the competition, they want
right.
children to be able to I think she's back.
Yes, I
They
really
want
hope.
a video will be able to, can you
Aisha, are you? Oh, fantastic. What happened?
it's the network can scatter your dada.
It's echoing. I can't hear you.
Oh, now we can't hear you. You sound low. Is it just me?
I can't hear her as well. I can't hear her either.
I can hear you, but it's echoing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
echoing,
it's
but your
echoing, and we
your
were
end.
we were doing just fine when you came in earlier. Maybe you need to go out and come back in. It's really a disturbing sound coming from there.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a technical
Maybe
thing. I
when
don't
you
know
go and
why.
come back in, it will be better.
It will reset,
All
hopefully.
right.
Yeah. Sorry guys about the technical issues today, but again, we're having a very interesting conversation about reading. What are your experiences? What experiences have you had when it comes to reading? What story can you share with us when it comes to reading? Are you still a voracious reader, or are you one of us who once in a while when you pick up a book, that's your sleeping tablet, you're gone? Or are you somebody who is selective? Like you do read, but there are books that you read more than the others. What's your story? Let us hear it in the comment section. Would love for you to engage with us in this conversation about reading. What are some things, what is reading like for you in this day and age where there is a lot of distraction, there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of scrolling going on? Do you read? Do you read? Let's know, and please share your comments with us. It's funny because even when you look at posts, even on socials, people would post, you see somebody post a flyer with details of a
They're
particular
not reading.
event on the flyer, and somebody will come into the comment section to ask, what's the date for this, how much is it, and it's all on the flyer. And I'm wondering, like, is it that you people don't read? This one, they don't even have to hide the thing in the book anymore. Like, if you don't want them to see, if you don't want an African person to see, you know,
Put it
just
on
put
a
it in text.
billboard.
Just put it in
Put it
text,
on a
and
billboard. You'll still not see it. And
it's
I think just this what we're saying now, that sounds like it's a joke. It's a major personal development strategy, because
mm,
when people say that readers are leaders,
right.
it wouldn't make sense until when you really hear a leader delivering. And I
Mm,
would say that because I belong to a community of we do our book reading, and then the beautiful part of it for me, how it works is, especially in this day and age where we're doing a lot of things together. Once I want to read a book, I carry a group of people along so that we can be accountable to each other.
To each
So
other.
it has been very helpful. At least, if not for anything, I will run to go and read chapter one, run to go and read chapter two, so that I don't look like the unserious one when we get
When they are
together to read.
reviewing it, yes.
If that's a good reason for me, because I hate to be in the midst of people where everybody is saying one or two things, then I will now look like, oh, you're the one that
You
is
didn't do
very
your
busy.
assignment.
You're the one that doesn't know. You're the one that, and all of that. And it's so, you can just read, but I don't know how the brain works. What you do holding your phone in 1 hour, you can do that achieving a lot more by reading an intentional book. So one of the,
Right.
I for me, I think this particular episode is important because I wish Aisha can come back so that she can just help us unpack how to navigate it. And
From
I
her
know some
experience,
people
yes.
know how to do it. Some people already, but take this as a reminder and also take this as a nudge to get back, because they'll tell you that people are making money out there. Is it, what am I reading? Is it, let them read, let me do my business, but I think there are other benefits, and I'm really, really
Mm.
hoping that Aisha
She
can
will
come
come
and
back.
share,
And so I have a
some of the
comment coming
benefits.
in from I have a comment coming in from Instagram. Angela, hi Angela, it's been a long time. How are you? Thank you for joining us. So Angela is saying, I don't know exactly at what points this speech came through, her message came through. But Angela, please, can you expand on what you said? She said the pages and rating the book. So I think maybe she's saying one of the strategies that work for her depends on the pages, like what's written in the pages, and the rating.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
that's what help her to decide or to choose the kind
Type
of book
of-
she's reading per time. But
Okay.
please help expatiate on that. Welcome back, Aisha. Can you
Thank
hear us
you.
better now? Oh yeah, what
Yes.
happened? It's so clean now.
Oh, I don't know. The network is better, I guess.
Okay, I'm going to leave you to Grace. Grace, please take it away.
Yeah, so I was just asking that when we're talking about how to inculcate the habit of reading, what's that one thing? Okay, that was not the question. So, is it because of the attachment? You know, while growing up, you have to be for you to be called serious, you have to read your book. Do you think that particular behavior by our parents, it's a major reason why many people don't find reading interesting? Or what do you think about our growing up and reading, the culture of reading and growing up?
Okay. I like to I like to differentiate pleasure reading and reading for school. So and growing up, we all have to read for school. It's a necessity. It's compulsory. We have to do that. But when it comes to pleasure reading, I think it's something that can't be forced. Our parents can't force us to read school books. They can force us to prepare for exams and all of that. But when it comes to, reading just for the sake of it, for pleasure, you can't force that. You can't force a person to enjoy reading a book. You have to teach it. And how do you teach it? I heard you say something like was it EG saying something about if she wants to enjoy a book, it has to be a novel and she has to read out loud to herself. So we all have she said she's an auditory learner, but that is by we all have different ways we enjoy things. We have different ways we enjoy things. And when people say they don't like reading, I think it's because you simply haven't found the right book. You simply haven't found the right book. I believe we are all readers and there's a book out there for everyone. So what I tell people is to try genre hopping. What I call genre hopping is, when you pick up a book and you start reading and you find out that you don't enjoy it, drop it. You don't have to force yourself to read it. I think that is why a lot of people don't enjoy reading. They try to force themselves to read what they don't enjoy. It's like me trying to force myself to read books on politics. I'm a very apolitical person, so I know I won't enjoy books on politics. So if you force me to read a book on politics, I won't enjoy it. It's going to feel like a chore. I'm going to hate every minute of it. So once you pick a book and you find that it's not giving, let me use, if you don't like it, just drop it. I like to use the 50-page rule. So if I pick up a book and I read the first 50 pages and it's still not exciting, I still don't like it, I don't push, I just drop it and move to another one. So even if you don't know what you like, I always tell people to start reading on books on topics they find interesting. Let's say I like cooking, I might decide to pick up a book on cooking, or I love art, I can decide to start reading books on art and stuff. But if I don't even know what I like, let's assume I don't know what I like, that is where genre hopping comes in. So today you pick up let's say mystery, a mystery novel, a thriller or romance, until you find what you like, until you find, yes, what you feel comfortable reading. So it's like trial and error. It's not something you force. You can't force it. You can't just pick a book and say, oh, I tried reading this one book and I didn't enjoy it, so reading isn't for me. It's just that you haven't found the right book for you.
I love it. I'll jump in before Grace comes back to it. I love what you said about, genre jumping. And in my head, I don't know how it works, back home again, but even while I was back home, I don't know that I explored like libraries or bookstores as much to know how they operate, back in Nigeria to know. But here, for example, you see this thing you just said now, it's a beautiful hack that is so sweet to carry out over here. So there's this bookstore. I think is the biggest in this region. I think I need to go and check that again. But Asha know is the biggest in Dubai Mall. Dubai Mall is the biggest mall in the UAE and actually the biggest mall in the world, if I'm not mistaken, right? And so they have this huge bookstore in Dubai Mall called Kinokuniya Bookstore. Gosh, if you're a book lover, just don't step into that place. You will get lost. And the most beautiful part of it is that when you get into that place, ah, you can literally, they even put seats there, or you can sit on the floor and pick a book by the shelf and check and read whether you like it or not. Drop it back and just like literally, if anytime I have friends who come into town and they are book lovers and they're like, I'm like, you like book? Let's if we enter, you just be like, oh my god, EJ, oh my god, oh look at this book I've been looking for. Oh look at and just the build and the smell of the books, and just for me, it's just the fact that you can get into that place and you can literally spend your whole day there. Just carry a book. You can finish a book in that place. And even you will be proud of yourself, like, oh, I finished this book. So with what you just said now, I think it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful hack. And I'm saying this out for those of us watching who are in this region, who are in the UAE or around this region. Please, this is an opportunity for you to try this hack. If you're not sure what kind of book you want or what kind of book you like, even Barnes and Nobles, they also you can also walk into Barnes and Nobles and pick up books and sit in the bookshop there and go through. If you can't do 50 pages, do at least the first 10 pages. You will know whether you like the story or you like this book or you want to continue or not. And if you don't, then you can hop like that, spend like an hour or two in the bookstore, and you will at least have one that will say, I think I want to read this. And then you can start from there. I love it. Thank you for sharing that hack. Over to you, Grace.
I normally say when I go into a new city, I look for three things: the gym, a place of worship, and of course, a library. I don't miss it, a library. And for me, I think one should even have a sacred place in their home space where you should read. I call it my knowledge center. I don't care. I don't care if the place is in a corner in my room, but it's a place where everybody that knows me, or if you've lived with me as a student, or as a, I don't know. But there's that corner where, yeah, we can see her stash of books. We can see it, her library, looking like a chamber. Like, I mean, you're going to talk about that. But I'm just, when you were talking about this book, I literally got goosebumps because I know what it feels like. I visit bookshops, and the few bookshops that I've visited in Abuja, I have felt that way. I was like a crazy person or a child in a candy shop. Like, hey, I'm like, these people will chase me. We had a book club in a book. See how creative, and this, I'm excited we're talking about this. That's because we can find fun in reading, which is the essence of this conversation, so that people can just say, look, it's not business as usual. It's not that boring kind of thing. Friends now hang out to read over a cup of coffee, to read and discuss. It's so, in this age where things are becoming very virtual and very social media-ish. These are things that I'll just call you, Aisha, you know what, let us meet up at so and so. Let's read this page. Maybe you read it, I read it, and then we'll talk about it. We can bring that fun, which is something that is just coming to my head. Okay, sorry, I just had to share my excitement. So, the next question that is coming to me is on why and how we should be practical, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Practical, because people will tell you, you have the time now. Maybe when you become very, very busy, you will not have the time. So how can you help someone that is, our topic says the quiet power of reading in a loud world. And loud world to me means working, to a mom who is catering to her children, going to the market, going to work, doing all these things together. How can you speak to such a woman or a man that would have to wake up in the morning? He would go to his office, he would go for board meetings, he would go and do all the things that he needs to do. How do you think it is practical for him to introduce reading into his regular routine?
Okay. You see, I treat reading like a soul appointment with myself. That's how I treat reading. If you say you're going to have to wait, like if you want to wait until you have time to read, it will never happen. It will never happen. And everyone creates time for things that are important. We create times for things we think are important. So I always create time for reading. It's maybe I might not be able to read throughout the day, but I make sure I read even if it's one paragraph before going to bed. I make sure I read even if it's for 5 minutes before going to bed. If I'm not able to do that, then it means maybe I have read something in the morning, first thing in the morning. I read maybe for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. What people think is they have to read 50 pages a day to be called readers. They have to read for an hour or more to be considered readers, or they have to actually read hard copy books to be considered readers. But there are different ways people read. You can read on your phone, you can read on your Kindle, you can read paperbacks, you can read anything. And there are even audiobooks. So if you think, oh, I don't have the time to read in the morning before leaving for work or before going about my business, or if you feel, oh, whenever I come back from work, I'm very tired and I don't think I'll be able to read, you can listen to audiobooks when you commute to and from work. There are audiobooks, and it counts as reading because you are learning, you are absorbing knowledge. It counts as reading. That is why we have audiobooks. And creating time, 5 minutes, I'm always with a book. You will always see me with a book. That is because I know I might find myself in a place where I'll have to wait. So when you are waiting, maybe at the bank or you're in a queue, you can read. even if you don't have paperbacks, there are PDFs, there are ebooks. You can just take out your phone and read for the few minutes that you have. I make use of every small window I have to read. I just make sure that I read, even if it is one page a day. That is why I always have a book in hand. And I tell people, if you want to make reading a habit, always have a book in hand. If you don't have physical copies of book, you can download books on your phone. So that when you have the time, when you have that small window, that 5 to 10 minutes window, maybe when you are waiting or doing something, you can just steal that time and read. So I don't think it's a big deal if you feel reading is not even for you. You have audiobooks. I always remind people that audiobooks, they have the option of audiobooks. They don't have to read like everyone else, and you don't have to read 50 pages a day. It's fine if you read one book in a year. It's fine if you use up an entire year to read a book. It still counts as reading. You don't have to compare yourself with someone else. You don't have to say, oh, this person read 350 books this year, and I'm not even able to read 2 books in a month. There's no
I
point
love
in.
it. I love it. This question is coming in, and I think I had to put it up on the screen because I think even what you're saying is an answer to that question. When he says, "How could you help a person who is not committed to reading for so long time?" And I think this hack you just shared is if you practice and you start like that, it's a very subtle way and practical way to ease into reading. The first thing is just decide that you want to read again, decide that you want to commit to the process, and then make every different timing available to read something. And I think this hack you just said about, if so, first of all, you need to decide what style works for you. My son, for example, would say he doesn't really like ebooks because his ebooks is on his device, it's a bit distracting for him, so he prefers hard copies. That's how he can focus and read when he wants to read. Do you see? For me, on the other hand, I'm an auditory learner. So I'll rather listen to the book over and over again because as I'm listening, I'm creating the images in my head. And so for me, I could listen to one book over and over again. And I can easily remember, okay, I've read this, I know this, and all of that. But that doesn't stop me from reading physical books as well. So, but what we're saying here is to practically ease your way back into that commitment. Decide that you want to do this, and then create the almost like a system around it. Like she said, if you like physical books, then always have one. First of all, hop and see the one you like, then always have that one with you so that at any given time you are in a bus, you're not the one driving, you can read one paragraph. You are at the bank and you have to wait for the teller, you can read another paragraph. Do you see? So there's always that thing, and before you know it, you might be able to finish one book in 1 month if you go with that style of just reading in bits and pieces and saying, okay, every free time. And every time, it's not like it's going to be easy, it won't come to you easily. It means that every free time you have, scrolling will come as an option. And so you need to tell yourself, okay, instead of me scrolling, let me quickly read one chapter. If I finish the chapter and there's still time, I'll come back to scrolling. But just put systems in place that would help you commit to the process. And over a period of time, you'll be able to do that. Okay, so Musa is still asking. He says, does that book has any impact on the person emotionally, mentally, or even physically? Does that books okay? I think I get the question he's asking, but I would love for you to speak to this as well. This is his follow-up question. Yeah.
As in, what's the impact of books to one's emotion, to
Mental,
one
emotional, and
emotionally,
physical.
mentally, and
Yeah.
otherwise, physically?
Okay. There's a saying that um, if you know how to read, you can learn absolutely everything. So because there's a book somewhere about whatever it is you want to learn. There's a book written about whatever it is you want to learn. I think that is talking about non-fiction books. So if there's something you want to learn, you can look up the book, pick it up and read, and you can learn whatever you want to learn. But talking about fiction, um when we say fiction, I think Okay, fiction. Fiction strengthens your imagination. Yes, it helps you think. It promotes empathy. It makes you feel
I don't know if it's on my end, but your video is frozen at the moment. So I think Aisha is having another network challenge. But while she comes back on the screen, Mr. Musa, thank you for asking the question about, what does book do for you? Again, it's okay. You're back. Are you back? Can you hear me now?
yeah, I can
Okay.
hear you.
All right. Please go ahead then. It froze for a
So I was
second. Yeah.
saying, fictional books especially strengthens your focus, your memory, and even your emotional resilience. Also, it helps you build empathy. Okay, so these are just some of the advantages of reading. And again, reading lowers risks of cognitive decline. The other day when we talked, I mentioned that it lowers the risks of um cognitive decline like dementia later in life. So all of these are advantages of reading. So whether you decide to read fiction or non-fiction, you are still doing good to your brain. They say that reading to the brain is like what workout is to the body. So when you are reading, you are working out your brain.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that answer. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Musa. If I'm going to add anything to that, is to say that there, like she said, there are books for every single topic that you can think of. So if you're looking for something that would help emotionally, then you can go for a book that is written for that purpose. If you're going for mentally or physically, there are books that can help you with all of these different areas of your life. And that's what I said earlier on, that one of the ways that you can actually lean into reading and making it fun for you is to make it purposeful. Because you notice that as much as we say we are not readers, we are all educated, right? People that say they don't read, they went to school. Somehow, they passed the exam. Somehow, some of them are even doctors today, right? Because there was a purpose attached to it. They had to read. They had to read that textbook, even though they don't like the subject, to pass the exam, right? But this time we're saying that outside of making it a chore, like a school, you have to write an exam or whatever. We're saying we want you to think about building reading as a culture. And for you to do that, it has to stem from a place of pleasure, from a place of where you love what you're doing. Right? Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Musa. It says, my question has been answered in a very good and clear manner. Thank you for your contribution towards our growth. Thank you very much, Mr. Musa, for asking the question. So, yes, let's just find a way to add reading into our daily lives to make it pleasurable for us. Yes, over to you, Grace, as we begin to wrap up the session. I can't hear you. Is your mic muted? Your mic is not muted, but I can't hear you. There's no sound. Can you say something? No. Your mic actually is unmuted, but we can't hear you. Can you hear her?
No, I can't.
You couldn't hear her, right? Okay. So sorry about that again. Grace is going to fix that in a jiffy and she would join us back. So I think network today has really been crazy. Is it raining in Abuja?
No, it's not.
So what's going on with the network in Abuja today? Okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyways, give us a little insight on how you're going forward with BBB, and if people wanted to be a part of that, how would you want them to engage with you?
Okay. For our pilot project, I'm thinking of starting a 30-day reading revival. where we're going to pick a book. We'll pick a book, and then for the next 30 days, I think I want us to start in June. So for the 30 days in June, we'll be reading that one book, and we'll have prompts for every day, little challenges to keep us engaged. No pressure, like you won't be expected to read the book immediately. But
The network today, what's going on in Abuja? You people should tell me. What's going on in Abuja?
Can
Why
you
is
hear me?
Abuja
It's just that
network
somebody is
misbehaving
trying
today?
to.
Yes, I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear
now.
me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
I
I
can hear
think
you now.
somebody is
Yes.
just trying. Somebody is trying to get in touch with me, so the person just keeps calling. But I think we are in a very wonderful place. I just wanted her to share the goal because okay, what I was asking earlier, maybe she can just answer it before we leave. For some people, like you said, politics is not your thing. And then for some people, when they read across journals or they watch movies or audiobooks, they listen to all those things, they consider it something around personal development. So some people don't buy the idea of reading. So, and they will tell you that you're reading because you want to achieve ETC. You're reading because you want to achieve this. So if you were to speak to someone, or if you were to, if I, okay, I'm asking you now, essentially, what is your goal? What do you hope to achieve by reading? What's that big goal for you? And what is it that you hope to achieve by reading?
okay. For me, reading, I love learning. I love learning. So reading is the easiest way for me to gain knowledge, to learn. I hate not knowing things. I dislike not knowing things. So reading is
Okay. Definitely something is going on in Abuja today. Because both of them are in Abuja. So something is going on with Abuja Network today. We sincerely apologize for all the network um shenanigans, but I really do hope that today's conversation has sparked something in you. I hope that it's gotten you thinking if you have deserted reading all this while and there's been a tugging in your heart to say, I really want to read. I want to go back to reading. I hope that our conversation today has truly helped you spark that interest in you again to say, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll try some of the hacks that they've mentioned. Maybe I'll genre hop to see what is calling out for me for now and start from there rather than force myself to read just about anything or the next book that is to me. But I'll probably take a visit to a bookstore this week, next week, and say, let me just look around and see the first book that I'm able to read past page 5 and it's still getting me interested. I'm going to pick that book and try to complete it, whether like without giving yourself restriction to say, oh, it has to be a self-help book or a sci-fi or horror or love or whatever genre it is, but just exploring, leaving yourself to exploration and letting your own mind pick for you per time, or even if it's your mood, and start from there so that you ease yourself into the process of reading again. Put systems in place to keep yourself accountable, like what Gracie shared earlier on. You can have a group of friends like you who wants to continue to read or who are looking at keeping consistency when it comes to reading. You can come together and decide, you know what, we might not need to read the same book, but at least every once a week, let's come back and check on each other to say, how far are you going with your book reading? That way, you have somebody who knows outside of yourself that you are on this journey, and that way you can support each other on that journey. So I really do hope that you found today's episode very interesting and very insightful. And we want to leave you with this, that this is the end of April now. It's a good time to reevaluate to say, okay, how can I tap into the power of reading to help me harness the power of my mind. If you're asking what are the benefits of reading, it helps your mind. It helps your mind expand. It helps you travel to places that you probably are not able to go to yet. It helps you meet with new people and new cultures. You get to know about the rest of the world outside of your immediate vicinity. And so those are some of the benefits that you can really lean into. And we challenge you that as we step into the month of May, please try and see how you can bring back reading, continue reading, or expand your reading capacity. Gracie, what do you have to say? Aisha is back, but the network is really bad on you people's end. I don't know what's going on in Abuja today.
It's actually not the network. Somebody was trying to reach me, and it was I I had to go. If you
But it's
notice, we
funny,
don't have any.
both of you went off at the same time. That's the thing. So I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, okay, okay. That was intentional. I needed to speak to the people, so I had to go off camera for a while. Anyways, I think we have said it all, and I think the most important thing for everyone is to just know what works for them. We can only suggest, we can only say that this is good, this is healthy, this is this, and this is that. But at the end of the day, what's the goal for you? What do you want to achieve? For Aisha, she uses that that particular skill to achieve her goal of learning. For you, what do you want to use reading to achieve? I also buy the idea of reading to acquire knowledge and also to take me away from my scope and to go beyond my mental boundaries and even my physical boundaries. So that for me is why I read. The big question is, why do you want to introduce reading into your culture, and why do you want to read? Pretty much it.
Absolutely. Oh, sadly, I don't think we can get Aisha back into the studio, but our time is fast spent and would have to wrap up the session now. But thank you, Aisha. If you get to watch this replay later on, thank you for being a guest on the show. Thank you for continuing in your reading habits and not just leaving it to yourself. You understand why you read, you love reading, and just the sheer fact that you want to help other people who are still finding it difficult on this journey to reading to help them get into the habit of reading. We celebrate you and thank you for taking it a step further to come talk about it on Your Voice, Your Impact. This is essentially what we're saying on the show, that you have a voice. There is something that you are good at. There is something that you are interested in. There is something that you probably have done a bit of research more than an average person that can make your contribution very helpful in any scenario. And that is why this platform exists, to help you share about that thing, to help you talk about that thing, to give voice to that thing, to amplify your voice on that subject matter. And that's why we're here. So please, if you're interested in sharing your knowledge, your experiences, your thoughts, then be our guest. Just reach out to us, reach out to me or to Gracie, and we will show you, how to go about it. We are open to getting on guests on our show. So please, you're welcome, because your voice is your impact. And we know that you have a voice and your voice is meant for impact. And our job here is to help you amplify your voice. So please get in touch and let's keep growing together. Until we come your way again next week, I am super excited about next week because next week is next month. So happy new month in advance. In the month of May, oh my gosh, we are bringing kids. We're bringing like the younger generation. I think this is Generation X. Yeah, this is Gen Z X, the next one. So they're going to be on our show all through the month of May. We're celebrating children in the month of May. So please be our guest and come here from these little ones, but with hefty minds and great impact. Okay, I see Aisha here. I'll allow her come and wrap up. I don't know. Now the sound is crazy as usual. I cannot hear. It's just very crazy now. Can you try saying something?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll give you a few minutes to just give your final words so we can wrap up this session. But the audio is really crazy.
I didn't catch that.
Did you hear anything? Did you hear?
I didn't catch what you said.
Okay, can you mute? Let me see if that will work. Okay, so I think it's better when you mute. So I'm saying that I'm going to give you a few minutes to just wrap up because our time is fast spent. And I just want you to give a recap to say what will be your last word for anybody watching right now when it comes to reading. What do you want to leave them with? So you go for it. So I guess that's it for today because it's frozen again. But that's it. That's a wrap for today. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We'll see you again next week. God bless you. Bye bye.